indictments, RICO charges, gang charges. We see that with here, but this is only focused on the YSL gang. At that time, we used plural indictments. Should we expect more indictments against singular gangs in the coming weeks and months? Is that what you were meaning with that quote?
Yeah, and if you're already aware, we dropped an indictment not that long ago against YFN. It is certainly a tool that I believe in, which is using RICO. I believe the reason that I believe in it as a tool is it allows juries and the communities to see the complete picture of a crime so they can absolutely.
Two questions specific to YSL. With the 20-some people arrested here or named, how big is this gang? Is that a good portion of the gang you're operating in Atlanta, and how long were you investigating them?
If you look at the indictment, the crimes that are alleged within it go all the way back from 2012 to 2022.
Grand jury will hand down an indictment for former President Trump and the investigation into interference in the 2020 presidential election.
County's District Attorney Fani Willis, who's been leading the election interference case against former President Trump, now finding herself at the center of calls for an investigation amid questions of an alleged affair with Nathan Wade, one of the outside special prosecutors she hired for the case against Mr. Trump. One of Trump's co-defendants, Michael Roman, has been calling for his case to be dismissed entirely, claiming without direct evidence Willis and Wade have been in a, quote, improper clandestine personal relationship and profiting significantly at the expense of taxpayers. New court filings from Wade's estranged wife in their divorce case include credit card statements that she alleges show Wade paid for flights and cruises to remote locations for him and Willis. Fulton County Commissioner Republican Bob Ellis telling NBC News he will be pursuing a full investigation and finds the allegations grossly concerning, writing a letter to Willis questioning if she, quote, misused county funds and accepted valuable gifts and personal benefits from the man she hired. Trump last night raising similar questions.
How bad is that, paying a guy almost $1 million who had zero experience, but it's their boyfriend, and then they traveled all over the world. Norwegian Cruise Lines, oh, isn't that nice? I'd like to do that, I just don't have time.
At a church service last Sunday, Willis suggesting race is behind growing controversy surrounding her and Wade.
I'm just asking God, is it that some will never see a black man as qualified, no matter his achievements?
But her comments from a 2020 campaign appearance are now being used by Willis's opponents.
I certainly will not be choosing people to date that work under me. Let me just say that.
Marisa Parra joins me now. Marisa, what happens next with these allegations?
So first, Willis is trying to fight a subpoena for her to testify in Wade's divorce allegations and proceedings. That is happening on Monday. Then separately, there is a different hearing, this with the same judge in the election interference case over these improper allegations. That, Jose, is happening in mid-February.
Marisa Parra, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Oh, yo, it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV. UPTV, make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in, and just when we thought things could get crazy and wilder out in Atlanta, Fulton County, Georgia, with everything that's been going on as of late in the news with the RICO charges and Donald Trump getting indicted, they is now alleging and accusing that Funny been out here acting funny, playing with the money, sneaking and geeking and freaking and taking off for the weekend and living her best life. And I had a links in the description where you can watch the clips in the beginning in full from 11 Alive and NBC News. And I put those there to show how everything kicked off with YSL, Young Thug, and also YFN and YFN Lucci as they was indicted and indicted out in the Fulton County area. And then also came back later and got Donald Trump on an indictment. And now you hear what they alleged. And we're going to get into the write-up in just a second to break down from the other side of the perspective. But the guy Roman, his team is accusing Funny Willis of these things right now, saying that, hey, she hired this outside guy to come in and she's been paid and things like that. She's been gifted to have him on the case, basically throwing the whole ranch in the whole indictment. He's a co-defendant in Trump on their RICO charges. There are some people who have already taken plea deals on that Donald Trump indictment with their RICO charges and things like that and have began to corroborate. But the guy Roman is saying, nah, she got some dirty stuff going on. And that guy is actually going through a divorce right now. So when they announced that, hey, we have to go do this hearing and they subpoenaed Funny Willis to come up and speak, is raising all this awareness now what's really going on. And we saw last year with Donald Trump went on the news and was talking and politicking and doing what he do, you know, he gonna make a joke out of it. Oh man, nigga, I wish I could go out here and ball out. I just don't have time. But she's the one that was having an alleged affair. That's what he was already putting out there and everything last year. Donald Trump said that on the news himself. Well, now it's coming back to the forefront again. And when you thought it couldn't get no wilder, it's getting even more wilder. As the write-up says this, as 11 Alive had got a law school professor to speak up on it, and when they talked about Roman's filing, offered no concrete proof to support the allegations earlier this week. Emory Law School professor John Acevedo said he was skeptical of the claims because it would have to be extraordinary level of hubris to think you could get away with it in such a high-profile case. But the news that a hearing had been set has begun to alter his opinion. The scheduling of a hearing doesn't mean that there was an inappropriate relationship, he said, but it does mean that the allegations are substantiated enough that the court is willing to take the time to hold a hearing. Though, he added, the move could also reflect the magnitude of this case. This is inflammatory, and this is such a high-profile case. It just might be simply the judge being overly cautious that there is no hint of impropriety to the public, said Acevedo. And I'm gonna tell you, he said you gotta have the direct proof of this. None of that has been shown yet. We gotta wait to see if it went down like that, saying they was out spending the money on the weekend. That guy going through divorce right now and everything like that. All this stuff is crazy because it's tied in, nigga. Think about this. 2 rap stars, nigga. Young Thug, YFE and Lucci. Other crews and teams in Atlanta also indicted by the same prosecutor that got Donald Trump. One of the most popular presidents of our, if not the most popular president of our time, most definitely famous former president indicted, and all of them got RICO charges. And now they accusing her of having an improper relationship and taking benefits with this. They brought up the old clip that she said in church she would not date down and things like that or date somebody beneath her. But they gonna always try to wiggle things. Nothing is confirmed yet, but this is wild, my nigga. All this stuff getting tied in, and I done said it before on here, nigga. It seemed like everybody in the same conversation now. Everybody in the same barbershop convo. We got politics mixed in with the streets. This is like an episode of The Wire, nigga. On the cool, like, you know how if you watch The Wire, the political stuff was trickling down to the streets. It been like that, but just seeing it in real time with rap and hip-hop and not on the TV show like The Wire, this is crazy, my nigga. Tell me what y'all think. We got more coming, more videos, all that. 1000 for shit show. Stay on your pivot.